WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. An incident on Burns Circle this afternoon in Columbus continues to unfold, and police identify a possible suspect. Police Chief Fred Shelton says investigators now believe they are dealing with an armed robbery. Once investigators started talking to witnesses, several stories changed. Shelton says the victims are not cooperating with the investigation. Officers believe the victims and the suspects know each other. Police are looking for Kajarius Anderson. He could be driving a white 2005 Chrysler 300 with license plate LTC 1773. Again, LTC 1773. No one was injured. The incident remains under investigation. An Amory man is accused of assaulting a Monroe County deputy. 57-year-old Larry Thomas Lee is charged with 2 counts of assault on a police officer. Monroe County Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says deputies went to Lee's home to pick him up, and Lee allegedly started to fight the deputies. Lee is currently out on bond. Police are searching for a car burglar in West Tupelo. The accused thief was caught on a home security camera in a neighborhood that reported a string of vehicle burglaries. WCBI's Allie Martin talks with the homeowner whose surveillance camera got the crystal clear images.
Annalise Holt was getting into her car Saturday morning when she noticed something wasn't quite right.
Everything had been pulled out of my glove compartment and the center console in my car and thrown into the driver's seat. And at first I thought, well, maybe it had been my grandchildren looking for something.
Holt was encouraged to review video captured on her Ring home security system. She did, and was shocked at what she saw.
And there it was, a man on the video at around 4:45 in the morning, and he had a flashlight. He had knocked on the glass in the window of the door. He had looked into the living room like he was trying to get in, and then it looked like he noticed the ring, and he turned. But he went through everything under my carport.
Holt posted the video online and also gave it to the Tupelo police, who are looking for the man. Police say he is also a suspect in a rash of vehicle burglaries on West Bristow and throughout the area. The video and photos of the suspect staring into the security camera have been shared hundreds of times on social media. Holt is hopeful the video helps nab the suspect before he gets into even more trouble.
We posted the video, and then my daughter put it on her Facebook page. I'm not on Facebook much. Yeah. There were a lot of people that stated, well, if he had been at my house, he'd be dead. And I don't approve of that. I mean, no, if they're threatening your life and sure. Yes. But he was just looking in my door with a flashlight, and there were people saying they would have shot him.
Police encourage people to keep their cars locked and to report any suspicious vehicles or people. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And this suspect is also on Crime Stoppers. If you know who he is, call 800-773-TIPS. The polls are open in Houston today as voters decide whether or not to allow the sale of alcohol in the city. Our Quentin Smith is at Houston City Hall as the special election heads into its final hour. So, Quentin, has it been busy out there?
Well, Joey, poll workers inside tell me it's been a steady flow of voters coming in all throughout the day. They estimate that roughly 1/3 of the registered voters here in Houston have come out to cast their votes. That's equivalent to a little over 800 people that have come out to participate in this special election. Now, as you know, this has been a hot topic here in Houston for a while now. Currently, Houston is a dry city, which means alcohol cannot be sold. However, in just a few hours, once all the ballots are counted, we'll find out if things will remain that way or if there will be a change. Now, if you haven't had time to come out and vote yet, you still have a little bit of time to do so because the polls will close tonight at 7 p.m. And I also want to point out, only registered voters in the city of Houston can come out and vote in this special election. Now, of course, we're going to follow this story all throughout the night, so be sure to tune in with us both on air and online at WCBI.com for the latest results. But for now, reporting live in Houston, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
All right, thanks a lot, Quentin. Time to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson, who joins us with a steamy first look at our forecast. Keith?
Steamy is correct, Joey. Right now, 95 in Tupelo. It feels like 104. A little bit of a breeze out there, but that's just fanning the flames here as far as the heat is concerned. So mid-90s, the current temperature. The heat index still well into the triple digits. Suffice to say, it's going to be a warm evening. Now, some of you have had a little bit of rain here, some isolated showers and thunder showers around, but in general, most spots have not seen it, and that means most spots will really have a warm night, and lows will be into the mid-70s again. So just hang with it. More heat, more humidity coming our way. We'll have your full forecast coming up.
Extreme heat conditions like we've seen today can make it dangerous for those who make a living outside. In Oktibbeha County, road crews have been working out in this heat with the heat index hovering around 105. It doesn't take long for someone to become ill. Oktibbeha County's Health and Safety Coordinator Thomas Smith makes sure there are rules in place to keep workers from getting overheated.
We try to take as many breaks as possible. We actually implemented some extra breaks during the day, or especially the guys on the ground. We're taking a few extra breaks just to get in the air conditioning. If not any air conditioning available, find some shade and just kind of cool off a little bit.
It will be at least a couple of days before we see any relief. The area is under another heat advisory tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. It's been almost 3 months since the devastating Hamilton tornado, and cleanup is still part of the daily routine. Supervisors say the amount of debris is more than originally estimated. Our Cash Matlock joins us live in the studio with more on what folks in Monroe County can expect in the next few weeks. Cash?
That's right, Joey. Well, so far, supervisors say cleanup crews have covered 95,000 cubic yards of rubble, and they haven't even made it to the northern part of the county yet. Crews have been picking up debris in Hamilton for a month. Original estimates were between 120,000 to 160,000 cubic yards of material that would have to be moved out across the county. Those estimates turned out to be low.
Construction debris was more than we anticipated because there were some homes that were insurance companies wound up totaling them out that we thought would be repaired. So that has been higher. And
even with the new numbers, Billy Kirkpatrick says he and his fellow supervisors were not caught off guard by the increase.
It's really not that big a surprise to the board. It was a very difficult storm to estimate the amount of debris just because of the fact it went so far across the county.
Kirkpatrick says the board's main concern is finding the money.
The county will be responsible for 12.5% of the cost of this. So you know that gives the board of supervisors the incentive to try to hold the cost down.
The contractor hired by the county has 90 days to complete the pickup process, and even with the increase in volume, Kirkpatrick says they should make that deadline.
They made their first pass in Hamilton. They started their second pass this week, and we'll move to the north end of the county, which is in my district, and it's a lot different situation. It's an area that's mostly agriculture, mostly timber. And like I say, we hope after 2 to 3 days toward the end of this week, we'll have a lot better idea of what that total volume is going to be.
Well, Kirkpatrick says contractors will be announcing their third and final residential sweep soon, and that the northern part of Monroe County should be on the lookout for a few road closures in the near future.
North Mississippi Medical Center West Point is saying thank you to those who answer the call. The hospital hosted an appreciation breakfast this morning for first responders and military personnel. Hospital Administrator Barry Keel says this is something the hospital has been wanting to put together for a while now.
I think our first responders and government officials and military personnel often aren't recognized for what they do on a daily basis, and this is just one small way that we as a hospital here in our community can show our appreciation to them, to say we appreciate what you're doing every day, and we appreciate the sacrifice that you're making every day and what you do to help our community and help our local citizens.
Keel says the appreciation breakfast will be an annual event. A group of Starkville teens is trying to cope with the loss of a friend. We find out how they're moving forward when we come back.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. The best thing about our local communities is that most people know each other, grow up together, celebrate, and grieve together. That's happening this week in Starkville. It seems the entire town is mourning Lake Little, a recent high school graduate. She died in a plane crash on Saturday. Too young, too soon. Our Riley Livingston spoke with some of her closest friends about the lake they knew. She joins us live in the studio with more. Riley.
Joey, it hits you when you talk to them. They are still teenagers with plans and dreams, and now there's a hole in their storyline and in their hearts. They always imagined themselves this way, but in a split second, everything changed. And for Becca Breckenridge and Caden Cutshaw, their group of 3 is now a group of 2.
It's definitely been hard. Spending the night last night, we were talking about how weird it was.
Yeah, not having a third person
to have her there. Because, like I said, she was just part of the crew.
Yeah.
And, you know,
all of us.
she always was kind of like the life of the party. She kept everybody together, and, you know, she was always the loudest one.
Halfway between high school and college, this summer, they say she was doing what she loved.
She was so passionate about it. When we were younger, she'd always say, I just don't have my niche. Like, all y'all know what y'all want to do, but I just don't know. And then we went on an Italy trip together, and 2 weeks when we got back, she discovered her love for flying. And then she just took off with it.
And, you know, flying, I feel like was kind of cool that she had come into that because my dad flies planes too. And so she would always come over here and love to talk to him about everything that was going on. And he was the one that had gotten her kind of interested in Civil Air Patrol because she was saying how she was thinking about being in the Air National Guard. And my dad was like, this would be a great step for you.
Becca and Caden say Lake was always honest and always had their best interest at heart.
She would always tell us exactly what she thought about whatever we were doing.
If we needed to hear it.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it was tough to hear what she had to say, but in the end, she was always right about it.
She was just looking out for us.
She truly always had our back. She really did.
She was a good friend.
The 2 are leaning on each other and their memories.
She was so brave and bold in everything that she did. And so we just have to remember to always try to be like that throughout the rest of our lives.
She always said, don't stay in your comfort zone. Always do something, you know, that feels new. And I think I'll always just push myself out there, and I'll remember her by carrying on her legacy. And we'll always talk about our memories together and just make sure that she's not forgotten.
Good advice and perhaps a life lesson from an inspirational young woman. Be brave, be bold, don't stay in your comfort zone. Final arrangements are still pending.
Looking east from Vernon, Alabama right now at Durham's Pharmacy, there's a little bit of a subtle rainbow right there. Some showers trying to fall apart right there. But we do have some heat coming our way. Also, some tropical moisture. We'll talk about that system coming up next. Stay tuned.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
I want to give a special shout out to these great kids. I went out to the New Hope YMCA, and this is their summer day camp. We talk about weather, air pressure, thunderstorms, all that good stuff today. Had a great time in my visit to New Hope earlier this morning. In Columbus earlier today, wow, hot, humid, bubbling clouds. Not really a lot of natural relief. That's our Alpha Insurance Camera Network in Columbus. But hopefully you saw one of those brief showers. We have a few blips around out there, but most of the activity has been few and far between. So don't really expect a lot going forward into this evening. More heavier rain and storms over here in Alabama. And all of that is actually associated with this area of low pressure that's trying to develop down here in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. If you notice that little swirl right there, it's not a tropical entity just yet, but it could become one. There's an 80% chance of some tropical development over the next day or two. The hurricane hunters could actually go in there tomorrow, depending on how things look. Now, if that organizes, the models are taking it back towards Louisiana by the weekend, and then perhaps up into our region as we go throughout the weekend. And that would give us a chance for some heavier rain somewhere around here maybe, and a chance for some of those tropical tornadoes on the eastern side of a landfalling system. That's always a concern. But just throwing that out there, this thing has yet to form, and we have to get that first. But these are the model tracks for the next 96 hours. And right now the bullseye seems to be for the center to go towards Louisiana, and then all bets are off And really, until it forms, we just don't know what's going to happen with this. So stay tuned with us. It's a possibility as we get into the weekend. Some of us could use some of that moisture, maybe not 6 inches or more. Some spots down closer to the coast may see some very heavy rain, but moisture is definitely needed when it's in the mid-90s and the heat index into the triple digits. So very warm now. It's going to stay warm tonight. 75 degrees, staying muggy. You know that. It was very muggy this morning. Same story tonight, too. So we're going to go from 77 or so at 7 o'clock to 92 at noon, 96 at 4 tomorrow. Assuming you don't see one of those storms that may pop on up around you. If you do see a storm, brief relief from the heat, but widespread 90s out there again. Today, we were 96 in Columbus and Tupelo. Probably the same story tomorrow. The heat index well into the triple digits on Wednesday and probably Thursday, too. So there's a heat advisory in effect that will continue into our day tomorrow, and that can be extended also into Thursday. We'll see. But just limit your exposure to the sun. We may see some of those pop-up showers and storms tomorrow on a scattered basis. Rain chances about 30%. Those will go away tomorrow night, and we'll likely see a few more showers and storms as we get into your Thursday, too. So the area of low pressure that we are watching down here in the Gulf of Mexico by this particular model is taking it back towards the west. And we'll just see the evolution of this feature as we go throughout the next couple of days. Again, it's only Tuesday. This thing would be a weekend problem for the region. We'll wait and see. Pretty hot for Wednesday and Thursday, trending cooler if we do see some of that moisture, Joey, by the weekend.
The high school football tour continues. We take the trip to Tishomingo County to visit the Belmont Cardinals next.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
We jump into Class 3A for our next stop on the high school football tour, checking in with the Belmont Cardinals. The Cardinals were able to snap the long playoff drought of winning a first-round playoff game, and now they're hungry for more postseason wins in 2019.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
The 8-season wait for a playoff victory for the Belmont Cardinals came to an end in 2018. The Cardinals upsetting the higher-seeded Choctaw County. Now that this group of players has experienced the feeling of playoff success, they're hungry for more.
It gave us a lot of confidence for this year, and we just want to build off of it and win more.
I'd definitely say it gives us a lot of hope because we've already done it once. That definitely means we can do it twice. It definitely takes a lot to win a playoff game, but if we work as hard as we did last year, I definitely think we'll be able to.
The Cardinals will need to replace a lot of production, mainly in the secondary, and replacing 1,200 yards rushing and 120 tackles from Parker Bolton. New guys will need to step up, but Belmont will be able to rely on returning starters in the trenches, as well as another season with dual-threat quarterback Garrett Rooker under center.
I expect to hopefully lead this team better than I did last year and be more successful than what we were last year.
We have a bunch of young guys coming in that's going to fill these positions, and they're going to be pretty good at it.
Playoff appearances are tradition in Belmont. The Cardinals playing into November in 15 of the last 17 seasons. This group of seniors believes a deep playoff run is coming up next.
This past couple of years, we've gotten a lot closer, and we've had winning seasons and doing better, and I think we're on the right track this year.
Belmont kicks off 2019 with a home matchup against the Smithville Seminoles. With the Cardinals on the high school football tour, Tom Ebel, WCBI Sports.
60 Schools in 60 Days with Belmont High School was brought to you by Belmont Pharmacy.
Some of the upcoming stops in the high school football tour. We are in Region 1-3A, Boonville, Nettleton, Amory, Wednesday through Friday for your work week. And then we check in with another reigning state champion, 3A, Water Valley, coming up on Saturday. Looking forward to that story. If you're looking for the full schedule, go to our Twitter and Facebook accounts at WCBI Endzone. And if you've missed any of the stops along the way, go to our website, WCBI.com. Mississippi State assistant coach Jake Gautreaux named National Assistant Coach of the Year by D1 Baseball. Gautreaux has been responsible for a pair of nationally ranked recruiting classes since arriving in Starkville, as well as working with the Bulldogs hitters and infielders. Gautreaux was recently named the Conference USA Hall of Fame for his illustrious career at Tulane. MUW men's soccer has hired Dylan Burnett to lead the program. Burnett spent the past 2 seasons as an assistant for Southern Miss women's soccer. With the Golden Eagles, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles saw an improvement in back-to-back seasons, finishing as a conference tournament finalist for the first time in program history. That's it for sports. The last look at your weather is next.
Just like the surface of the sun out there, Joey. Speaking of that,
Warm.
we have heat index currently of 108 in Columbus, still at this hour. But it will be a little bit cooler as we trend wetter perhaps by the weekend, watching that tropical system, so we'll get through it.
We will. It's like living in a crock pot right now.
Sure is.
Hot and humid. Yes. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.